What's up, smart people? Once again, you are tuning into one of my videos where I teach you the very basics of how to trade stocks. And in this video, I'm going to show you support and resistance and show you the very basics of what that means. So right here, we're looking at CHK, and we're going to try to establish a support line. Now, support is where the stock has been bouncing off from the bottom of a price area. So if you look at here, it bounced down to about 280 a stock, and then it went up. It was traveling through here, and then it bounced down to 287, then it bounced down to 285, and it bounced down to 285 again, and then it moved up, and then a little dribble, and it started moving up some more. Now, what I want you to look at is how many times has it touched a specific price point or price area. So it seemed like on this stock, around 280 a share was a little bit of a sweet spot. So if we mark out here a nice little line, we can establish some areas of support where we can see that it bounces off. If you zoom in, these are days right here. So there's 1 day right here, 2 days, 3 days. And you can see within that day, so say this happened the first time, bam, you took note of that it dropped down to a very good oversold area, and you're waiting on it to make that same type of move in that price area again. So it's moving through that day, had a nice good day, and then bam, then bam, you're watching the red day, and it's getting real red throughout the day, and it gets down to your price point of around 285, because you don't really want to use the wicks, you want to use full bodies. And it's hitting that price point, and you can get in if you want, or you can wait for another day of confirmation that it's hitting that support line, and it's starting to rise up off that support line, finna hit 290 a share. You can hop in to swing trade it for a couple days, and then bam, you're up over 10 cents a share. Oh, let me go back. Zooming out real quick, you're up over 10 cents a share. And especially if you keep riding it out, setting the stop loss real nice and tight, you'll reach over the $3 a share period. You can get out and make some profit. But another thing to look at is you can set your stop loss to where you got in at, and you can see that it never even touched where you got in at 284 cents. The lowest it got was 286 cents. You're safe. You're still in the green, and it had a nice little uprise. By waiting and being patient, you made even more money than getting out on the short rise, and then getting out on the big rise, making a couple dollars a share just by watching the areas of support. You watched it for 2 days straight. You got in on the third day. You rode it. You set your stop loss for a couple cents under of where you got in at. As you can see, you got in over here. It never came back and touched your stop loss, and you just rode it out. So as you can see, finding areas of support can be your best friend. And the next thing you want to do is find the area of resistance. So looking at the same stock in the same time area, sorry if this is a little confusing, but if you watch the video over and over, it becomes a little easier every time. So resistance is the area of the upside of the stock where it bounces back downwards. So this is a resistance area, this is a resistance area, it bounced down, resistance area, bounced, it tried to bounce up, and it got rejected. So if you want to mark where most of the rejection area was, right here, also right here is an area of resistance. If you can see, kept touching that. Least amount of shares traded wasn't enough volume to keep it pushing on the uprise, it got some volume, but hit another area of resistance and got rejected. Oops. So by knowing this area of resistance, it will help you also get out of a trade. So once again, let's say you got in looking at the support, you got in at low area support when it's gaining momentum. You set your stop loss for 2 cents under the trade, and then you seen that the stock hit your resistance point. Now going in a little bit more in depth, using your indicators, I don't have the current right indicators set up to where you would be able to understand this easily, but using the regular RSI indicator have been showing momentum, you would have seen that the stock didn't really get overextended in this area. That means it wasn't that much volume, like a huge volume push and a period of overextension to where that is a huge resistance area. So that means that is a weak point pretty much right there. So you can ride it out if you're real confident in your trade. You know, this takes practice and practice. You can ride it out as it hits your stop loss, and you see that it's coming up close to resistance. You're still riding out, and then it's at the resistance point. Now here, as a beginner, when a stock just breaks the resistance point, you kind of want to get out. You want to collect your profits and run. All right, real quick, let's look at another example. So we're looking at SPY, SPY, the overall market, a stock that measures overall market. All right, you can see here had a nice sell-off. It dropped here, started moving up, then had a nice sell-off, dropped in the same price point area, about 257 a share down to 254 a share. So bam, it stopped there, 257 a share down to 252 a share. Had an even shorter wick on that. That means it kind of was gaining momentum to the upside, and then it kind of off track. So that means if it didn't touch your support area again, that means it's kind of uptrending, especially if it's looking like this, hopping up. Now let's identify the resistance. So as you can see here, it kind of blew past this area of resistance, but it is a resistance point, and it's becoming a resistance point once again. It just happened, became resistance again. See, look at that, how important it is to identify your support and resistance area. Is going to let you know what this stock is doing, give you a good indication of what this stock is doing. Is it going to the upside? Is it just bouncing back and forth where I can just get in on the low, get out on the high? Or is it going downwards? Is it currently downtrending, like here? Well, there's a little downtrend, but overall it's just going up. But yeah, you guys, I hope you learned a thing or two, and I'm definitely gonna go way more in depth about this. Just keep watching the videos, and I got you. Alright, you guys, I will see you in the next one.